Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Wellness Week here. It's our maiden voyage here on YouTube. And so we're going to be talking today about three different topics. We have our expert, a resident guest, Magnus, and he is a PhD in, I always say biochemistry. I always mess that up. I'm always messing that up. Is that right?
You're always hitting the right one. It is biochemistry. So yeah, it's biochemistry basically slash biotechnology,
Okay.
Because biochemistry is considered like within biotechnology. So yeah, but it's within biochemistry.
Awesome. So good to have you on again. This is our new platform on YouTube, which we also will be putting it to our Facebook, which was we used to be on, but we'll still be on there too. So today we're going to be talking with Magnus about. I'm a big proponent. I know Magnus, we are too, about our mind and mind health. I have some people come up to me in private and say, "Oh man, you got to talk more about the mental health." And I don't like to say mental health because, as we talked about before, the word mental has a negative connotation. Oh my God, you're mental. It's like, so I say mind health. We all have a mind. We all need mind health. So we're going to talk about mind health today. We're going to be talking about hot dogs, hamburgers, and French fries and why they're bad, because I think we all eat them and be like, I don't know, what's the problem? So before all that goes on, so you were saying you were a big Star Wars fan, real quick, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I grew up with the original Star Wars. I mean, I'm that old. I mean, you can see my gray hair and my beard and everything. So
Yeah.
so I'm a 70s kid, and it just spoke to me as a kid. It's like it was basically a new take on like a spaghetti. I always been into fantasy and science fiction and all that. My dad was a huge science fiction fan himself, so I think it kind of rubbed off a little bit on me. And no, we enjoyed it and always.
You're not a Star Trek fan.
Movies. So yeah, and that's something. It's just a fun memory from growing up that I still kind of. Every time when I see it, I think back on me as a kid watching it again.
Oh, yeah.
And now, I mean, we can say whatever we want about the newer movies and everything like that, but I think that they really hit the head on the nail again with the Mandalorian, and like Disney Plus is probably a really good platform for Star Wars to expand on what we really want to see. It's not just like the Jedis and
right.
Things.
It's meat and potatoes.
Yeah, I mean, we want to see get down in like the gritty of it, because like people want to see what life is all about. It's not like, oh, I'm cruising around in my brand new spaceship and picking up chicks,
So wait, so you're not a Star Trek fan. You're a Star Wars fan.
The thing is, I'm both. You're a double agent. It's funny because like it's the same thing when I grew up. You either listen to like synth pop or hard rock. That was basically it that kids were listening to, and I remember they were like all out kind of gang wars between like synth people and the hard rock people. They were fighting like in the streets back in the days, and I'm like, this is nuts. Like when you're looking back at it. So no, I really enjoyed. Like Star Trek is completely different though, because Star Trek has way more to do like with politics and more like we're talking about more the mental aspect than just going in and kicking ass. It's there's many, and I mean, like looking at it, you can say whatever you want, but Star Trek as a show, like they were way ahead of the curve. Like they had a black female actress as one of the leads. They had an Asian as a lead, and I mean, like George Takei is like he's such a great follow too, like really fun guy to like smart dude, and like
George Takei.
Yeah. So looking at that, I mean,
I got you on a tear here, man. I shouldn't have opened up the Pandora's box. I said Star Wars.
No,
we're talking about Star Wars now. We're talking about nutrition and health.
Yeah.
That's another episode
for you. It's good for the viewers and listeners to hear what we're about as persons too. What kind of like get us going. Absolutely. Did you used to watch it yourself?
So I'm not you. I'm not on that level, but I like Star Wars better than Star Trek. Although I do like to watch old Star Trek episodes from time to time from the 60s, just for nostalgia. But they're both, obviously there are many parallels, but there are many differences too. So I'm a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, but again, I'm not on Magnus's level, you know. So I'm more of a Rocky Balboa. That's my movie. Like all the Rockies, I can quote every line except I'm a purist. So after Rocky 4, Rockies are all trash to me. It's Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4. And
which is your favorite?
Trash is love, you know. What's that?
Which is your favorite of those 4?
Yeah, Rocky 3 is my favorite. Let's not get into that, but just because, again, I like Rocky 3 because it had a lot of different characters. You know, you had Thunder Lips Hulk Hogan, you had Clever Lang Mr. T, you had your usuals, the Mickey and the Paulie. So it just was a lot more. And also, Rocky got into like really killer shape in Rocky 3. You know, he got into like just 2% body fat as a young guy. Yeah, as a young kid, you're like, oh my God, I want to be muscles like that, like a lot of us did, right?
Yeah.
So, segueing into our health thing. So
here we go.
There you go. You see some Rocky. You threw me the red meat. So so mind health. You know, it was funny. I was saying to somebody, and I, you know, I'm not asking you, but I'm divulging of me. You know, the times in my life when I went to go see a therapist or a life coach or someone to help me, my priest or whatever. You know, it's a big step to ask for help. You know, no matter what it is. You know, for me, generally speaking, it was anxiety and stress. And without getting into so many details, we only have a half hour. But I said to myself, why is it that I have friends, and probably you do too, that need to go see a therapist or a priest or a rabbi or an imam or a coach or somebody, but they don't? And I said to myself, why is that? Why is it that they're not going? And they have the money, they got the insurance, so it's not that. And for me, I think it's 2 things. You tell me what you think. I think it comes down to, and by the way, I'm talking about your cops, your doctors, your nurses, your teachers, the dad or the mom that's under immense amount of stress and debt. You know, they're about to break. You know, we've all either been there, are there, or going to be there. So I understand. But why is it that some people that could get the help, they don't? And for me, I think it's 2 things. It's a perfect storm. You need to hit rock bottom, so to speak. And you need someone to speak truth that you value, that you respect into your moment, into your life. Boom. And then you have the first step, which is 80% of the fight. But so for me at the time when I was going through great stress, and you know, we all go through stress in our life. I should say one of the times I had enough of the stress and anxiety, and somebody spoke to me that I valued and that I love and that I respected. And when that came together, boom, then it was like, pow, I was able to take that first step. And the first step is the hardest step. But it can't just be rock bottom. It has to, again, you have to have that person that you value, that you respect. And it can't just be the person you respect. You have to hit, quote unquote, or have enough of it, rock bottom. And that's why I think a lot of people don't get the help. They haven't hit the rock bottom, and they don't have that person that they respect that can say, hey, bro, or hey, honey, or hey, buddy, or, you know, you need help. And so when that person told me that, it was a humbling moment. I was like, shit. I'm like, you know, but in that moment, I became powerful because then I took that step. So that's my idea. Why I think people don't get help. I don't know. What do you think? Would you concur? Would you slightly disagree? Like, what do you think is it for people who don't take the step for nutrition, for mind health? In this case, we're talking about. But what is it for you? Why do you think they don't take that step?
So I don't think it's just like we're not just talking about mental health. We're talking about health, period. People are afraid of going to the doctors. They're afraid of going to the dentist. They're afraid of hiring a professional to help them with nutrition, training, whatever it is. Health is scary because you don't want to get that. You don't want to hear that you're like mistreating your only body. So it's better to kind of like brush it under the carpet and kind of avoid it than actually like jump into it and be honest towards yourself.
But don't you think though that somebody would be quicker to go see a dentist or quicker to go see a dermatologist, but they'll go a lot slower to see a therapist because God forbid you see a therapist. You're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy. It's okay to have an abscess in your tooth. It's okay to break an arm to see a doctor for that. It's okay even to have cancer, so to speak. But God forbid you see a therapist. This is why cops don't go to see therapists, generally speaking. This is why doctors, physicians, they have the highest suicide rates of all professions. They'd rather die than have the rumor mill swirl that they're seeing a therapist, so I think they'd rather break the arm. They'd rather have a physical disease because that's acceptable. But God forbid somebody has a mind issue. Nope. You're not allowed to have a mind. So what do you think of that?
I think that like maybe we should rename them to kind of like a mental mentor or something like that, because it comes down to a lot of things. Is like you're hiring a coach to excel, right? And I think that is something that a lot of people do wrong. They're not hiring coaches. Instead of like, oh, I'll test the water. No, like, why don't you ask someone that can kind of lead you the way? And I think that is a lot of like with mental, like the mental aspect of it. I mean, we're under so much stress today, and it could be internal stress, external stress. I mean, stress is stress. It doesn't matter what it is. It's stress. And I think that kind of like putting your fist in the pocket and say, oh no, I'm just gonna gut it through. Like, that's not the way to go. I mean,
especially us men.
It's better to like shop around like to shrinks and find someone that you really like vibe with,
or even a priest or a rabbi, an imam, a coach, a therapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist. It doesn't, and by the way, so my thing, and we talked about this, I like to call it mind health, because once you say the word mental, it's a wrap. Everybody thinks you're gonna like go, postal, and that's not true. We all have minds. We all have mind issues. All of us should be seeing a therapist at some point in our life, because we see a dentist, we see a dermatologist. That's okay. So, your mind is part of your body. It's normal to have anxiety. It's normal to have stress. It's normal to have fear. It's normal to have hope. It's normal to have joy. It's normal to have pain, But I also want to say, Magnus, if the people who are watching this, if they never see anybody, I hope that this might be a little bit of help to them just to hear us talk, because I get it. It's hard to make that initial call, initial step, initial email to reach out. So, I just want to tell those people like, hey, you're not alone. I've been there. I'm sure you've been there, or we're there now, or going to be there. You don't walk alone, And I said to myself, what would I want my therapist or a therapist to tell me? Would number one be listen to me. So like, I just shut up.
Yeah.
And I hear them, or tell me that my life matters. I matter. You matter. And if you could hold on for an extra second, an extra minute, an extra day, it will get better. I promise you, 100%. But you have to hold on, and you have to try to talk to someone. Don't drink the beer. You're not going to cure your problem with alcohol or drugs. Try not to go there. That's also a type of ending your life, So my thing would be, I would want that therapist to tell me I matter. I'm loved, no matter what my family or friends may say or think of me or not think of me. But I think there's a hopelessness oftentimes where you think, I can't get out of this debt. I can't get out of this relationship. I can't get out of this job. I can't get out of this mind health thing I have. And you will. That's what I would want a therapist to tell me. And also just to listen to me, just to hear me talk and not give me advice per se. I think that's the mark of a good therapist. And I've been to therapists, and the ones that are good will listen, not judge. And it's okay to go. I've gone, like I said, for my anxiety and my stress and my just general stress of life. And, but again, I think some jobs, if you're a cop, you're not allowed to go to therapy, even though you can, but wink, wink, you really can't, because God forbid people hear about that. You're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're a teacher. People don't want that getting out because they're ashamed. They're afraid they're going to lose their job. They're afraid they're going to be labeled. But it's okay to go to the dermatologist. It's okay to go to the orthopedist. It's okay to go to the dentist. It's okay to go to all these other doctors, but you can't go to a psychiatrist who's a doctor, or a psychologist, or a priest, or a rabbi, or a life coach. I get it. There's a scarlet letter around that. But I just want to say, we hear you. I see you. I know what you're going through. We're human, all of us. And if you haven't been in the darkness, you're going to be there, or you're there now. And so it's...
Anthony, would you think that this is more normal behavior in like male dominant work? Because I think so. And I think so, like you see it, like you mentioned, like you have the military. I mean, like being in the military, it's and being shipped off to combat zones and stuff like that. Could people imagine that stress?
I have people that in my life that had to go hand to hand, face to face combat, 100%. And I told these people, please, it's great you're taking pills, but you've got to also talk to somebody, guy, girl, whoever you can't. But that's an extreme, and it's necessary, of course.
Same goes for the police.
I
would say the same thing. Or if you're working, or like an ambulance driver or things like that. Or
what about if you're the mom or the dad and you are in such debt that you want to end your life?
Yeah,
that happens. So it's not a judgment, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but it's not a judgment to say, well, if you weren't in World War II, then shut up. You don't have stress. That's not right. Your stress is important to you at the time you're experiencing it.
Yeah.
Period. Military, you're a librarian, you're a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad, or whatever. You're a chemist, you're a pharmacist, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're whatever. You're a DJ. I'm a DJ. Whatever. I mean, it's okay to have a stress for a day or two, but if it's wearing on you and it's taking away your joy of life, and you're snapping at people like as a pattern, and you're thinking dark thoughts, you need help. Yeah. We all need help. If I have a toothache, well, I'm going to ignore it. I'm a dentist. You don't have to advertise that you're seeing somebody. Talk to could be a priest, could be a pastor, could be a life coach, could be a coach, could be a friend. It doesn't have to be a medical psychiatrist, although it could be psychologist, whatever, and I get it. I think people are hesitant because what if people find out? Like you said, especially male-dominated work, and meaning police officer. Obviously, there's female police officers, and they go through the same stuff. So male-dominated mean you're in that where it's mostly men. Why? Because us guys are like, oh, suck it up, be a guy. That still exists. That machismo. What's the matter? You can't handle it, you sissy. It's so just disingenuous and immature. Those are the people that have a higher risk of offing themselves. Those are the people that have a higher risk of killing their life. They're not physically dead, but they're not living. They just hide behind the beer. They hide behind the alcohol. They hide behind the cheese doodles. They hide behind watching Netflix for 90 hours. That's a type of death. You're not living your best life. And I need help. You need help. You need help. We all need help at some points in our lives, some more than others at certain parts in our life, but we all need it. And that's what I hope people get out of this channel too, is that it's okay. You're human and it's going to get better. It will get better. And if that's the only time you hear it from here to this channel, so be it. But I hope you'll see and talk to people, like I've spoken to many different people in my church over the years, or colleagues or friends or acquaintances, strangers. You got to get it out. You can't harbor this, whatever it is. And don't let anybody tell you, well, your stress doesn't matter. It does matter. You matter. Your life matters. And by the way, people are watching you. If you're not going to do it for your loved ones, or yourself, I would say also be cognizant. People are watching you, and how you handle this down the road. Someone's going to say, hey, he or she got out of that situation. I can do it too. Yeah. Don't check out. Don't kill yourself. Don't hurt yourself. You're going to, because I can tell you, and I'm probably speaking for you too, Magnus. I've seen people go through such literal death of their friends or family or such horrible circumstances, and they made it through. And when I went through some of my worst darkness in my life, I thought of those people. They don't even know this. And I'm like, wow, he did it. She did it. And it gave me hope. So I would say that to somebody who's contemplating suicide or contemplating getting into drugs or alcohol. People are watching you, and the people who are watching you don't even know they're watching you, but people pay attention. They see. So never mind your kids watching you and your friends and family, but even people who are acquaintances, and you can be that shining light for someone, that hope, because those people were for me, and those people don't even know it. I've never told them, and I probably won't, but they're in my mind like, wow, they got through that. I'm going to get through that, but if they would have killed themselves or got into drugs or negative things, that would give me less hope, So I hope that people who are hearing this will also remember that people are watching you, that you don't even think are watching you, and they don't even know they're watching you, but they're watching. It's a weird. So it's a good thing, So, and it will get better. I promise you, it will get better. You got to hang in there. It will get better. But there's help out there in many, many different ways. Even just YouTube. I mean, every little bit counts. So, anyways, and we're all on that line. If it's not today, it's going to be tomorrow. Or in the past. Life is tough, man. It doesn't matter. You think people are doing great. Oh, they're a millionaire, a billionaire. They got a Lamborghini and 10 mansions. Those are the people that are oftentimes hurting the most, Yeah. So you can't judge a book by its cover, man. Anyways, but I'm doing great, and I'm doing great because I'm able to have great friends and colleagues, and even talking to you and the station. Everything matters, you know. So I know I want to respect your time, Magnus, too, because I know
you're fine.
Hey, let's sit here all day. Hey, okay. So don't joke, because I'm that guy. I can go Sunday.
No, it's fine. I think this is such an important, like, the things that we're talking about is so important. And I mean, like, if we change a single person's life of actually like going and seeking help for whatever it is, I mean, we helped someone, and that's important.
And if all they do is get the help from this little segment or this channel, and I understand why you would be worried about going to get actual help, like, you know, from, again, a psychologist or a therapist or a coach. I get it. Then if this is the only place you're going to get a little bit of something, then hey, cool. You know, like, every little bit does count, though. So, and yeah, we could just do a channel on mind health alone for sure.
Yeah.
And I was, you know, something to think about for you and I was thinking, oh, you know what? We should do a thing called Mind Health Mondays. But again, I know you're busy. I'm busy. Who knows? Maybe we will, where we just do a half-hour segment on just this topic, because so many people come up to me privately and like, oh man, you know, you should just do it just for that alone, you know, just for the mind alone. I'm like, yeah, you got a point. So yeah. All right. Well, but moving on though, because I know we're going to go probably a little bit over here. So, okay. I also thought to myself, and nutrition has a lot to do with mind health, by the way, because drinking alcohol is not helping your mind. You know, high sugar diets are not helping your mind. It can cause, or it can magnify depression and things like that if you're not eating right. So that segue. Hot dogs, hamburgers, and French fries. What could be more Americana than that? You know, but if you read about it, hot dogs, hamburgers, and French fries, there's not a damn thing good about them, actually. They taste good, but that's about it. If you want to increase your cancer risk, if you want to increase your heart disease risks, eat hot dogs, hamburgers, and French fries. And you could say, well, I'm only having a little bite. Well, then that's a little bite closer to raising your risk for cancer, heart disease, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So your body doesn't care, punishes you or rewards you accordingly. It doesn't matter if it's your birthday or it's the 4th of July. Hot dogs, hamburgers, French fries it's 99% bad, 1% good. So why, Magnus? Let's talk about hamburgers first. Why are hamburgers bad? Why is a hamburger bad? Again, go ahead.
So let's take.
And I eat hamburgers, by the way, but I'm not.
I love hamburgers too. Let's take a step back first. In this case, I would say food quality is what mattered the most. If you go and get some really good lean ground beef, if you like make it yourself, you cook it, you take care of it, you know, that hamburgers are not that bad in that case. Actually, hamburgers are fairly healthy when you start looking at it, when you're not eating it from a fast food joint. And to sum this up, basically with hot dogs and French fries included, is the process of what the food is making. And also, like, these foods are also like you either frozen or shelf life, so you need to have a lot of additives to them. And the combination of that, like if you're looking at a hot dog, like what is the meat content in a hot dog? Like certain times, like when you start reading the label, I mean, there's basically no meat in it. It's just a bunch of chemical. It's like a chemical shitstorm. And you put in a lot of like the nitrates and things like that to keep it be able to, the shelf life gets longer. It keeps its freshness, we should say. And that is what's bothersome. And a lot of if you're looking at the meat that they put in there is basically, it's usually slaughter waste. A lot of it is, the last thing, what can we do with this? Okay, let's mix it up. I mean, you see that same thing when you taking like chicken McNuggets. I mean, there's basically no chicken in it, and then they add a lot of bread or things like that as a filler, and sugar, and all those things just to make it like look like some type of food. And this is unfortunate, you know. I mean, like, it could be good, and it if you're taking care of it and making a good choice of a high quality sausage. I mean, hot dogs could be amazing, but most of it that you buy from the grocery store, or if you go to a fast food joint, it's not. I mean, it's a process of making it quick, easy, and taste good.
Yeah. By the way, you brought up the slaughtered meat. You know, I didn't know that, actually. I was naive. I thought, hamburger, yeah, that's just filet mignon made into a circle. Wrong. Right, hamburger. I want to vomit when I heard that your average hamburger, unless it is from filet mignon from one cattle, all hamburgers, 99.9% of hamburgers out there, especially in the fast food industry, is all slaughter scrap meat from the cattle's ass, from their hoof, from the genitalia, from you're not even getting, you're getting the absolute scraps that were on the floor. They scrape them up and they make them into a hamburger from hundreds of different slaughtered cattle. It's not even from the same cow. It's from hundreds of different scraps that fall on the floor from hundreds of different slaughtered cattle. Scrape it up. They radiate it. They put whatever the heck chemicals on it. I mean, but just the fact I didn't know that, I was like, what? I am eating like 700 different scraps off the floor? Oh my, I didn't know that. I thought like a hamburger was just, I don't know, they cut it out of the cattle's stomach or something. Wrong. It's literally feces is in it. That's why they irradiate the meat and dip it into whatever chemical bath and whatnot. And then, as per your point, it's pink when you see it in the supermarket. It's not pink naturally. That's chemicals that are making it look fresh. It is the absolute garbage of meat. So very little nutritional value. But again, it's literally ass meat. I mean, it's the worst. Hoof meat. You know, it really is. I feel like I'm in some rap video. You know, like anyways. But by the way, the hot dog is even worse, man. Like hot dog and ham. Of the three, the French fry would be, if you want to call it, better. But that's not even. Yeah. But I mean, yeah. And hot dog's the same thing. It's just everything crammed together from crap and whatever. And
let me add something there. And this is the sad part when you said like the French fries. Like, have you ever seen like the oil that they use for frying?
I used to work at Burger King. I made the French fries. I'm right. The oil, if you're lucky, when I was working there in the 80s, got changed maybe once a week. And that was at the discretion of the manager of the property. So who knows? It could have been right. And the oil they're using, it's not avocado oil. It's the whatever crap oil, the crappiest crap oil that can crap on.
Have you ever seen, like, they have that show like when they basically show you how things are done, like how's it made or whatever. Yeah, there's a segment that you can look at on like YouTube on how like basically hydrogenated vegetable oils are made. It's disgusting. It's the same thing too. Like they have that like gray kind of nauseous, like, I don't know, it's like whatever, and they press it out, and then when it comes out, and then they run it through with like a bunch of chemicals to clean it up and remove smell. To our
kids.
Yeah, and that's and that's what I'm saying with the food industry is like they definitely don't care about our health. They care about your money.
No. 100%. But here's my funny thing, and I'm a former teacher. I taught for 11 years, okay? Before I went and became a DJ, which I'm at events all the time, and it boggles my mind. You'll have parents that will spend untold amount of money sending their children to the best schools, the best tutoring, the best sports program. Oh, and by the way, here's some soda, some hot dogs, some hamburgers, and it's like, but you're gonna feed them cancer-causing food? What is going on, people? Like, hello, does anybody see what's going on? You know, it's amazing, you know, so I don't know, but I get it. It tastes good. But you know what? So does lead paint chips, by the way. I didn't know this, but the reason why children eat lead paint when lead paint was put on walls, because I was like, yeah, why would a child eat lead paint? Because I didn't know this, but they were saying lead paint tastes sweet. That's why children will eat lead paint chips, not because they're crazy and they want to eat lead paint, but there's a sweetness to the lead. That's why children eat lead paint chips. Well, hot dogs taste good. Hamburgers taste good too. If you want to increase your cancer risk, there was a stat from foodrevolution.com. It said eating one hot dog a week will raise your chance for brain tumors and leukemia by 950%. Now, it's not going to give you guaranteed cancer, but it will raise your chances by almost 1,000%. It's just one hot dog a week. So
let's freeze. I want to rephrase that. We shouldn't use this as a chance, because chance is something that you're looking for. I would say that we're increasing the risk of getting it.
Right. 100%.
And that is important to understand too. Like, and again, like you pointed out, yeah, it might not help you, but like adding things on the list that is bad over and over and over again and doing it like several times, that is what is dangerous. Like eating it once in a while, like if you're going out to a ball game and like
once a year.
Yeah. Like, of course you should have those like, or a corn dog, whatever. I'm from Sweden. I don't even know what a corn dog is. I never had one. And I'm like, no, that doesn't look like my type of food. But what I'm saying, like sometimes food perfectly fine. But like, if you're eating it like once a week or several times a week or often, you're doing yourself a very like big disfavor. And that's what I'm trying to like say. Like I always talk about like the 80-20 rule, like do things good for the big amount of time, and then you have that flexibility. I mean, you can have your cocktail once in a while, you can have your ice cream, you can have your pizza. It's perfectly fine, but it shouldn't be one of the foundational foods that you're eating and serving your kids.
And you have to define though what is once in a while, because I have friends that'll say, oh yeah, I just have pizza once in a while. I have pizza on Monday once in a while. I have hot dogs on Tuesday. That's just once a week. I have a hamburger on Wednesday.
Of course.
Hamburgers once a week.
Yeah.
But they're putting it all together. You were eating shit all week long.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so yeah, I mean, and it doesn't have to be expensive, by the way. That's another cop out. But, and then of course, drinking our juicy drinks, our apple juice, orange juice, garbage, you know, soda, garbage, beer, wine, garbage. Once in a blue moon, meaning maybe once a month. I don't know. But yeah, once in a while, that gets me when people say, and I know what you mean. Obviously, I get what you're saying, but a lot of people would say, well, what is once in a while? I don't know, once a day, once a week?
Yes. No, it's what we're talking about here. It's, I would say, once, maybe every other week or so. Like, think about it. It's like the same thing. Like, buy and cook fresh food most of the time, and then you can have sometimes like when you go out and eat for special occasions or whatnot. One thing that I think that we need to talk about in another like segment, like later on, it's actually like what our kids and teenagers are eating, and like how we're setting them up to fail in school with like nutrition and the way schools are built. And I think and I think like there's many people that are parents and they need to hear it, that like maybe you should like have a little more interest in your kids' lifestyle when it comes to that, when it's food, and not like shipping them off to school and going to bed late and things like that, because you want to perform in sports, right? But you also want to perform in school and train your brain. And if you're not serving your kids any nutritious food, or that they're skipping out on meals and they're skipping out on their sleep and things like that, you're setting them up to fail, and they're 100%. Setting themselves up to fail.
100%. We'll send our kids to extra sporting practice, but we're giving them juicy drinks and fried this and hamburgers. It's like, again, would you put gas in a Ferrari? So you're going to do the oil change in the Ferrari. You're going to do the tire rotation in the Ferrari. Yeah. But you're not going to put good fuel in the Ferrari. Like, it doesn't make sense. So, you want to be a better athlete? Eat better. You want to be a smarter student? Eat better. Sleep better. Obviously, exercise that. But, yeah, I think we marginalize how important food is. It is medicine. It can make and break us. And also people talk about genetics. Oh, yeah, it's genetic. I'm going to go. Well, the food we eat can express or depress, turn on or turn off. It's called epigenetics. So it can give us a propensity to have higher risk for, you name it, whatever disease, or it can shut those channels down too. Yeah. So that's what food can do. It can actually influence our genetics too, on top of what we're born with. But so anyways, by the way, before we leave, did you want to make a plug for any of you? I know you have a bunch of different like channels or things that you're involved with.
So I have a Facebook group. I will actually, I can link, I will put it like in the comment. I will put a link there, both on our in our Facebook and like our private Facebooks and group Facebooks, and also like here on YouTube when it comes up. Yep. So people can find me there. Okay. I'm probably, like, I can tell you straight, I'm probably in the midst of changing the name of it and things like that. But like, again, like the link will lead you to it and you can join it. And it's not like we're talking about, like, again, like you and I, it's not just about fat loss and nutrition. It's about like a lot of like talking more broader views too, like bigger picture on health. And again, like you talked about earlier, health is not just like your physical health, it's your mental health and it's your emotional health too. Like all those three things goes together, and we need all three to be like feeling good and enjoying life to the fullest.
Yep, 100%. Awesome. No, thank you, Magnus. And so this will be recorded on our YouTube channel, and then we can just share it with links to our Facebook and et cetera, et cetera. So tune in every week. We're probably going to, I'm also going to be doing other interviews throughout the week, but let me know. We'll touch base, Magnus, about maybe doing if I know, because I know you're busy, maybe doing sometimes maybe 2 shows a week or something, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we can talk about
for sure.
A mind thing on Monday or Tuesday. What a lot to talk about, and but it's great talking to you, and I hope the viewers gleaned something out of it, because we're all trying to do our best. We're all failing and succeeding and failing and succeeding. Yeah. We're human, so we were just opening that conversation up. But thank you, Magnus. Have a
Can I add one thing?
Yes, sir.
Like if there's any viewers that if you have questions, like if you're like friends on Facebook or whatnot, like you can DM us or write it in the comment, and like on here on YouTube also write it in the comment, and we'll try to bring it up, because I think it's important that like we're bringing things up that people like that we might bring up sometimes, and we want to like deep dive into it, or that they have specific questions that we can answer them too, because it's always important to like interact with our viewers so they feel like they're actually a piece of this, and they can actually
100%.
kind of steer us where we're going in this maze.
Yeah, it's not just a one-way, it's a two-way conversation. And by the way, just also to preface, we're not medical doctors. We're not giving any kind of medical advice or prescribing anything. We're just having an open conversation about 2 people and our wellness journeys. We're all on this journey together, everyone. So that's all we're doing, is having a conversation. Again, we're not giving any legal advice or medical advice. Talk to your doctor, your healthcare professionals about all that stuff. But again, just a conversation. So thank you, everybody. Tune in next time. See you. Thank you, Magnus.
Thank you, Anthony. Awesome. Talk to you later.